Canada after World War I prospered, business was good and people were happy, but due to the stock market crash in 1929, too many loans being handed out by banks and Canada's dependence on the U.S., Canada descended into the Great Depression. The unemployment rate had reached an all-time high of 27% and everyone in Canada was struggling.
The Prime Minister at the time was Richard Bennett. Although many blamed him for the Depression, he tried to aid those in need in his country. People would write to him telling them their stories, and in return, he would generously donate his own money. And for many like Ann Lane, this was their last resort.
Dear Prime Minister Bennett, my name is Ann Lane, and I've been hearing of the families you have so kindly helped with donating your own money to give them aid in these difficult times. I am sorry to say, but I have written to ask you the same. My family has been suffering greatly like most of the world, and you are the only chance I have left for providing for my children. I am a wife and mother of 4, 1 boy and 3 girls. We live in Saskatchewan where we run, or rather ran, a wheat farm. All of our crops were ruined because of the drought that started in 1928. With all of the land being so dry and the wind so strong that all of our topsoil is being blown away. So even if this drought ceases, there is no possible way we can stay at our farm. When the market for wheat crashed completely in 1932, all of our neighboring farms, as well as ours, have suffered. What was once one of the most valuable industries in Canada is now viewed as fool's work. My husband was going to go to British Columbia to find work in fishing or logging, but all the primary industries have no income or need for workers. The wheat market crash coupled with the stock market crash of 29, our family is completely exasperated. I have family in the United States, and when the stock market crashed and banks were closing, they lost all of their money like many others. So we are stuck because not even our family can help us now. My husband and son have applied for every possible position in the area available in hopes that we can remain together as a family. But it looks as though they will have to venture to the relief camps to find work there. We hope and pray every night that we will find a way to make it through, but our hope is wearing thin with no food to put on the table and nowhere to go. You will answer all of my prayers if you could only send us a few dollars. I cry every night because I have to tell my children again that there is no dinner and they will have to wait a day or two for food. I beg of you to allow me to put dinner on the table once more. I wish you to consider my family. Thank you. Yours truly, Ann Lane.
Bennett was attempting to help Canadians. He set up relief camps in northern Ontario and interior British Columbia. He was trying to put men to work and allow them to provide for their families, but in reality, the conditions were horrid.
Dear family, I hope the money is helping at home, but I don't know how much longer I can stay here. I know we need the money, but how we're treated here is terrible. You would think that we were dogs. They order us around and make us feel like scum. The way we live here is atrocious. There are so many men packed into one facility that we can hardly breathe. One man here is claustrophobic and passed out and had to be taken to the hospital that was kilometers away. Hopefully he was lucky and got away from this place. It's filthy, everything is dirty, and there are too many people here to be healthy. The showers and bathrooms are always overflowed with people, and you can go weeks without a shower. There is supposed to be health care available, but there are too many men to care for. I can hardly ever sleep because it's hot, and there are so many men so close, I can hardly move. They have us do hard labor jobs that are useless just to keep us busy. They have us building a road in the middle of nowhere. There is no human life at all. For the amount of work we do, 20 cents a day is ridiculous. But we need the money, so I will continue to work and do what I have to do. I have heard talk of something called the On to Ottawa Trek. It's apparently all men from relief camps going to Ottawa to fight against how we're treated here. I may try to join if it's possible. Hope you're all well. Love, your son, James Thomas.
Many men were given useless jobs to keep busy and prevent them from going into the city to protest. But in April 1935, the campers were involved in a protest called the On to Ottawa Trek. They protested against both the relief camps and the Depression. RCMP officers were ordered by Bennett to stop the trekkers in Regina as it was beginning to worry him. This then broke out and is now known as the Regina Riot.
To my brother Tom, I haven't written you in some time. I joined the On to Ottawa Trek because of the terrible paying conditions of the relief camps. Thousands of men living in pathetic excuses of living quarters, building roads and bridges to nowhere. I heard of the On to Ottawa Trek from men in my camp. It's a group of men in the relief camps who are just fed up with the way Prime Minister Bennett has been handling the Depression and the horrible solutions he's come up with, like the high tariff policy, or increases taxes with all trade except Britain, increasing trade with Britain, and not having enough relief payments. Now, there's no need to stress, but I was a part of the Vancouver protests, and it was exhilarating. We protested to raise awareness of our cause. I feel like I'm part of change, revolution. We're heading to Ottawa next week to take this fight to Prime Minister Bennett's doorstep. There's talk that we might protest when we make it to Regina, and rightfully so, seeing as Bennett has been trying to suppress the voice of the people. Enough of this political mess. How are my nieces and your lovely wife? Have you taken them to see the Dion Quince yet? Can you believe that? There's 5 of them. I've got to go now. We're moving the fight forward, my brother. I'll write you as soon as I can. Take care, and wish me luck and support for my cause. Your brother, George Smith.
This riot resulted in people dead, injured, and arrested. Although there were many, many bad things occurring during the Great Depression, there were some highlights during these times, such as the birth of the Dion Quince in 1934. This was the first successful birth of Quince in history. They were born in a small town called Corbeil near North Bay. So many people were very amazed by this miracle, and so were the Dions. The government saw the Quince as an attraction that people would pay to see. The government took away the Quince from their family, and they were raised by a man named Dr. Defoe in a hospital-like home across the road from the Dions. Quickly, the Quince became famous after the opening of Quintland, and the Dions were eventually denied access to their children. With the election of Prime Minister King in 1935, Mr. and Mrs. Dion were hoping that he would be able to help bring them home.
Dear Prime Minister King, as you know, my husband and I had 5 beautiful baby girls almost 2 years ago now. We were blessed to have all the Quince survive, but you took them away from me and made them into a show. Crowds of people come from their hospital viewing center every day just to catch a glimpse. There's no privacy at all. These people are endangering our children. They are too exposed, people peering in at them all day, making them feel like freaks. Bennett made them into a sideshow because he knew people would pay to see them. I thought it couldn't get any worse, but unfortunately it did. Our girls are across the road now, and every time my husband and I try to see them, we are turned away without a reason. We were told we would have access to them at all times. When we get the chance to see our kids, we have to wear rubber gloves and lab coats. They don't know my face or touch. This isn't right. I want my children to know who I am. Soon they won't even recognize us as their parents. The only person they know is Dr. Defoe. He's a great doctor, I'll give him that, but he has taken my girls for his own. He's not their father. I see him in ads in the paper and such with the girls. Him and everyone else in the country are just using my kids for money. He doesn't even treat them as children with their strict schedules. Having a family is much more important than tourists spending an hour or 2 at Quintland. I beg of you to help us, please. I just want my family together. I understand that times are hard, but please, you are the new Prime Minister and it's time for change. My daughters are healthy now and are in no need for a hospital anymore. Let them come home. If there's anything you can do to help my family, it would be greatly appreciated. Yours truly, Elzier Dion.
The Quince finally came home at the age of 10. Their lives never the same again. Relationships with their families were ruined, but things with Prime Minister King were going well. After winning the election in 1935 against former Prime Minister Bennett, he often kept a journal of the events occurring in his life and in Canada.
Dear Journal, many things are happening and are changing. I've actually been stressed out lately, come to think of it. I love Canada. I have great faith in this country, and I think the whole world is really going to turn around soon. Winning the election, I think, was the best thing that happened to this country since the Depression started. Bennett just angered everyone. He didn't fix a single thing. I promised such things as a desirable trade partner out of the U.S. and negotiating appropriately with Britain. Canada knows I'm good to my word. I'm actually looking much forward to the future, working more at the present and other things. I really think this could be the start of something good. I also think what really helped persuade Canada was my slogan, King or Chaos. It really does make sense, though. I know how to handle Canada, and I know what to do. I have a good feeling. I feel that the end of the Depression is near. The spirits give me hope and faith. If only Canada would give me a chance. Something like this isn't going to get better overnight. I don't know. It's just frustrating and stressful with this uprising of political parties. It's diminishing more or less now, so that's a good sign. But I believe if we're really going to end this depression, everyone needs to be on board and work together. What has really helped me through more than anything is my connection to the dead. I'm not so sure what I'd do without them. They guide me through, acting like my angels, always reassuring me. Lately, I've been really communicating with my deceased mother, dog, and grandfather through my personal crystal ball. Such wise people. Recently, I met this one psychic who I could tell was not the real thing. She would tell a lie for money. This lady told me many things. She told me something bad was supposed to happen, but I think she just meant the bad thing was the depression, because really, how much worse could the state of the world get into? That lady had no clue what she was talking about. I might as well stick to my crystal ball. At least it's dependable. Anyways, Hitler wants to meet. I'm not quite sure about what, though. He's very big on fascism. In fact, a lot of countries are starting to be led by fascists. I'm not quite sure if this is bad or good, but what I do know is fascism governments are very controlling and strict. Maybe that's what the country needs, though. Maybe that's what the whole world needs. I heard there's some fascists in Canada too, but not to worry. I'm in charge, and that's not going to change. Politics are not an easy thing. It's so stressful and hard to please. No matter what happens, not the entire population is happy. I just hope everything turns out for the better.
The Depression was a scary time for not just Canada, but the entire world. It was tough economic times for all.
Thankfully, by the end of the 30s, the Great Depression was overdue to the upcoming of World War II.